Welcome everyone to today's Hume Talk Online. My name is Phoebe and together with Darcy we're going to be talking to former pupil Olivia Green.
So Olivia was at Hulme until 2018 and is now a GB Modern Pentathlete. Olivia won an individual bronze medal at the 2023 European Games and was part of the gold medal winning women's team at the 2022 World Modern Pentathlete Championships. So Olivia, welcome and thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm delighted to be talking to some fellow Humians.
So Olivia, let's go way back to 2007 when you first joined Hulme. What is your overriding memory of Hulme?
Oh my gosh, I absolutely loved it at school, to be honest. I was there obviously for a really long time, right till sixth form, but I would just say generally my memory is having really good relationships with my friends, with teachers, and just I look back with fond memories.
Yeah, I still think that's the same now. Like we're all really close with our teachers, especially in sixth form because it's so small. So when did your love of sport develop, and what sports did you used to play whilst you was at Hulme?
I think I've always been sporty. I guess I just always loved sport. Like my parents took me to different clubs. I played netball with the school. Hume's quite good for having netball players as well. Well, it was when I was at school anyway.
Yeah.
So I was always a bit, going to and fro, doing loads of different sports, to be honest. I just wanted to do them all. And I guess that's kind of why I fell into pentathlon, which is 5 sports, just because I never really wanted to do just one. I always wanted to keep them all up. And I actually did more than I used to do cycling and it got to the point where it was all just getting a bit too much and I did have to choose some sports to do. But yeah, that's probably why I got into pentathlon.
Oh yeah, I'd say we still have quite a varied kind of options.
I've
Yeah, we've got
sports
loads.
here,
We've got like table tennis as well.
Exactly. Can you talk us through your journey from school sports star to competing for GB?
Yeah, basically, yeah, as I've already said, I did a lot of sport at school and I'd kind of come into GCSE A-level kind of time being recruited is the word for it, I guess, by GB for pentathlon, also triathlon as well, but I ended up stopping triathlon after GCSEs. And yeah, so they started taking me on training camps and for some competitions and things, and I did quite well. And I thought, oh, this is quite nice, doing quite well. Yeah. So when I came to applying for university, their main training facilities are at Bath University. So I ended up applying to go there basically so I could train with the GB squad. And I kind of fell in with that squad. It's a really great training centre in Bath. So it allowed me to, have access to all the facilities that I needed to train for pentathlon all in one location, whilst them helping me do it alongside studying at uni. And then I got taken away on more competitions and camps, and it just all went from there, really.
Well, that leads us quite nicely onto our next question, actually. We were just going to talk about how obviously you went to study sports and exercise science at Bath. What were your career aspirations then? Did you know you were going to go into pentathlon at that point, or was there anything else that you had in mind?
To be honest, I kind of left sixth form not really knowing what I wanted to do with a career beyond sport, because the thing is with sport, you can only do it for a certain amount of time. I'm 25 now, and I'm probably looking towards the next games, which is in 2028, where I will be 28. But then after that, my body's starting to get old already. I'm already picking up more niggles and things. You just can't go on forever. And I will have to look into more of what am I going to do now. So yeah, when I came to uni, I actually wasn't sure what my career like beyond pentathlon, what I wanted to do. And I did the course that I thought was a really good course and fitting quite well with what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I did enjoy it, but I've kind of come out of that course now being like, I don't really want to do anything after pentathlon to do with that area. So I've started just doing bits of work experience alongside sport where I can in the media world. Like this summer, I just kind of I've got a few contacts that I know through sport basically, and I approached them and said, if you need any help hosting any shows or anything like that, I'd be really keen. I want to be a presenter one day or some sort of commentator or host. So I've done a few bits of work experience with BBC Radio Somerset over summer, and then I have started my own podcast actually. Which I started last September, and that's just basically interviewing other athletes. So yeah, I guess although I've gone to study something, I've got a good degree, but it's not necessarily what I want to go into at all.
Yeah. Okay. So, more about your event. The pentathlon is made out of 5 sports. Could you explain to us what the different sports are and which you think which is your personal favourite?
Well, my favourite is definitely running because I'm good at it.
Yeah.
It's my best sport. Like, yeah, talking back to my school years, I was mainly a runner. I did lots of different sports, but running was always my thing. And yeah, that's carried on until now. I would say I'm in pentathlon, one of the best, strongest runners on the field. So it's quite nice running past people. That feels good. Makes me like the sport. So the sports of pentathlon were running, swimming, shooting, fencing, horse riding. However, there was a big hoo-ha in 2021. Some disaster with the horse riding happened, and our sport governing body opted to remove horse riding from pentathlon and replace it with obstacle course racing. So I'm basically in a position where I was training for pentathlon with the original 5 sports until the back end of last year, back end of 2024, and now I'm having to learn a brand new sport. So I'm not sure how I feel about that really. Well, I don't feel I would have rather it was left as it was, but so I would say my favorite is running. I also did love the riding when that was in it. I kind of learnt to ride, especially when I came to university. I picked it up. I didn't ride a lot when I was young, and I really worked hard at it, really put a lot of time into it. We had this crazy riding instructor. She was honestly mental, and I like went and stayed with her for like weekends and things. I put a lot of work into it, and I did end up learning to love it, but obviously that's not part of pentathlon now.
My next question was going to be, how do you feel about them changing equestrian show jumping to obstacle racing, obviously in 2028? But you've already seemed to answer that one, so I'll move on.
Okay.
So I'm sure there's no typical day, but can you tell us about your day in the life as a GB modern pentathlete, or just what kind of things are on your to-do list?
It's a bit mental really. I feel like I'm running around like a crazy lady most of the time. So yeah, I train. How many hours a week do I train? Like 30 probably. Something
Wow,
like
yeah.
that.
It's a lot.
Yeah, so I like Monday I go for like it's more of an aerobic day on Monday. So like we go for an aerobic run in the morning, normally about an hour, maybe 12, 13K. And then we go straight into a swim pretty much. We have like half an hour, and that's about an hour and a half, that swim. Stop for lunch. And then I normally come back in, have a fencing lesson, maybe 2:30 for half an hour. Then we have the obstacle training, which is new, which is an hour long, 3 till 4, and then we go to the gym 4 till 5 and train there, and then that's done for the day. But so that's in terms of like kind of what a day looks like in terms of actual training, but there's quite a lot of bits to do on the side that you don't think about, and things like stretch rollering, being on top of nutrition, just like really making sure that everything is like the best it can be. And then we have all sorts of like, we have bloods done every Monday morning to like monitor how we're coping with training. So just like bits like that, meetings, all sorts of meetings about what our training load is, that just like kind of fill in the gaps of the week. So yeah, it is pretty busy.
So your events are obviously very endurance based, and that takes a lot of, drive and motivation to keep up on such a high level. So what would you say kind of motivates you to keep on going and keep trying and training hard?
Yeah, it is. Honestly, sometimes, well, when we go to a competition, it's like 5 days of competing back to back, and it is exhausting. Like, you get to the last day, which is the most important day because it's the final, and you're absolutely wiped out. So sometimes it is really hard, but I'd just say, like, try and take things day by day. There are quite a lot of days when I'm tired, injured maybe. Like at the moment, I'm carrying a couple of niggles just because I'm training for a new sport, really. And yeah, I just would say, like, I have to take things day by day and just stay consistent, try and enjoy what I'm doing. It's sometimes I lose sight of that, and you become so absorbed in results and who else is doing what and being competitive, and have to bring it back and think, why am I doing this? Yes,
Yeah.
the results are really nice, and that is a big reason why I do it. I like to do well, but I have to enjoy what I'm doing day by day. So it's kind of just keeping sight of that, really.
Yeah, you've got to focus on your own sort of game, if you know what I
Yeah,
mean. But
yeah.
so what is coming up next for you? What competitions do you have in 2025 that you're training towards?
Well, we've got the World Cup season, which isn't as competitive or as big this year because it was Olympic Games year last year, so it's kind of quietened down, but it'll all kick back up probably July, August time for the Europeans and World Champs. So they're like my next big ones that I'm looking to do. Um, yeah, and then it heads into next season. So I would say, yeah, most years it is Europeans and World Champs that are the big comps.
So, lastly, before you go, if you could give yourself some advice, your younger school self some advice, what would it be?
Yeah, that's a really tricky
It's
question.
a hard question.
Yeah, that is a really tricky question. Probably just, yeah, keep doing what I was doing, keep enjoying things, because I actually feel like I need my school self to give myself some advice now, because I feel like I'm too serious sometimes. I feel like, yeah, at school I was just not very serious and really like quite outgoing, and yeah, just keep that up, really, and just keep enjoying things. Um, that's all I can think, to be honest.
Right, okay. So we're running out of time now, so I just wanted to say a huge thank you on behalf of everyone from Hume for taking the time to talk with us today. Good luck with everything else in the future.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you to everyone watching today as well, and we'll see you soon for another Hume Talk.